Don't say I didn't warn you. All right. Welcome back, sled heads. It's Bob time. Let's take a deep dive and see if we can figure out what lit this bad boy up. Okay, so this was my side. And what I mean by that is I pulled up to the stop sign, and Dad was actually on the other side of the sled saying that I was on fire. So I was frantically trying to put out the flames from this side, and I just had a hunch that this is the meth feed line, this is the power line. It's positive and ground, and I just thought the fire, I saw flames from back in this area. This is the meth tank, obviously, and so I was stamping out snow here, and every once in a while the fire would come out of here, out of these holes, and obviously did a number here. And so I didn't think, we got, this is pretty hot here, this is crispy. I didn't think that this was too bad. This was concerning. This is the main feed wire. Let's see if I can move this. This is the main feed wire for the power. Let me see if I can zoom in on that for you. I can't tell if that is burnt from the outside or from the inside. If we look closer here, and I thought I could get by on a trip. Look at that, that's my ground wire. So either the flames sort of came up, through here and kind of just singed this area. Nothing else looks real damaged. The meth line itself is in perfect shape. It's just those two wires at that spot. And look, there's no burn damage anywhere here. So if this was in fact the ignition, like I was maybe thinking, that maybe this wire, which is 10 gauge, wasn't big enough, then the fire actually started way back here. So then I thought, okay, let's look at that wiring. And this is the wiring. So it goes to this WeatherPack plug. And this is heat shrink that I never shrunk. And it's still not shrunk. It didn't even get hot enough to shrink it. And so these wires to the pump feed and everything looks good. Now, I don't know if this WeatherPack is not rated for that, but again, look, there's no burn on it anywhere. Maybe a little crusty there. Just from the aftermath, I don't know. But again, if that was, I thought initially that would be hot. This is my main meth feed line here. Get my hand out of the way. And you can kind of see it's fine. It's fine all the way where it ran along the power. At first I was thinking, oh, what an idiot. I got the wire got hot and it melted the line. This is the brake and tail light line. Barely enough heat to even melt just that little bit of cheap nylon braid. The real issue was right there. Now let me go to the other side. Now we get over here and holy crap, I had no idea that it was this hot over here. I mean, this was melted way up here. That was singed right on the edge of that tank cover, that piece of plastic. This was my exhaust. It was, I don't have a single wire over here. There's no wires anywhere here. And I think what was happening is the meth was leaking, somehow here, ran down the side and then somehow ignited, and then it kind of I think the burn might have came from the front, or look at how burned it is inside of here. This is my glove box. So there's a t-shirt in there that I use as a rag. You can see some of those papers. That's my registration and stuff. That real dark, that stuff is just like foam that's melted and crusted. I do have two wires right there that are like my fuel sender, I believe, and possibly the fuel pump wire. So, I almost wondered, did the fire start here on something that's been proven? I've ridden that setup for years, that it started under there, came over here, got to that meth line, melted it, and then the meth it just gave me a false alarm, like the meth started the fire. I don't really know. Because this, I can't tell, I don't know if you can see this, but this line right here, it's hard to tell. I mean, it doesn't look like there's abrasion or anything like that. It just is simply really, really, really hot, and it melted. And that looks to me like an external hot. This line was, when it was not kinked and stuff, it was just kind of hanging like this. Just kind of hanging like that in the air, floating like that. It's still very flexible and pliable. I don't know. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the seat off, and we'll see if maybe there's some clues underneath there that maybe that's where this fire originated. I mean, I'm not a fire expert, but look at how burned that is versus where the methanol would have sprung a leak and drained to. You know, the sled was on a pretty level ground, so it would have sat at kind of that angle, same angle as here. So I'm not sure that, you know, all the meth would have ran down this one side or anything, but let me get that seat off and then we'll take a peek under there. Okay, this was my t-shirt. I just use this as a rag. This is my license and registration. See, I did pay. Really curious, like what's under there. This is the vent. You can see that this was the gas line vent. It's some weird motorcycle cap thing. It screws on the top of the cap. And it's long. All this hose is just that vent. And it's got melted stuff on it, but looks, well, you can see it's leaking a little. Why would that be leaking? Interesting. Why would that be leaking? It's supposed to be fuel vapor. Look at all that just ran out. You can see that hose, oh, it's dry and then wet. Oh man, I don't want to get, this gas is all good gas. I don't want to get all this crap inside there. I wonder if I can rip this out. Oh, here's my Leatherman. Look at that. Saved it. This actually came with a Skidoo. Andy, if you're watching, this is yours, buddy. But you can't have it now. Try to cut it out. There we go. Can you guys see that? That tank is looking really good. There's no obvious signs of arcing. This is just from spray under here where I'm kind of, what I'm trying to get to under here is these wires, and I don't see any signs of arcing. Siri, it's enough. These wires look crispy on the outside, but again, I don't think anything on the inside. That's my fuel return, again, fuel vent. There's no fuel on top here. I don't see anything on top of here, like maybe this was leaking. The foam back here, a little piece in the back where the meth should have been, that is in good shape. That makes no sense if foam over here is really good on this side. So it's this foam burned and this foam burned, the majority of it. What are you doing, Siri? Why are you harassing me? Stop harassing me. Oh yeah. The orange flame harasses me enough. I don't need you doing it too. Make sure I'm not cutting anything. I don't know if all this will make it in the video if you want to see a long forensic investigation here or not, but oh, here's some wires. What's this? Hold on, let's see. What are you doing? Do I have something that's... I see some wires for my brake lights. Okay, there we go. Jeez, that seat wasn't coming off. Andy, your Leatherman's nice. Okay, here's some wires near the source of ignition. What I'm looking at is, here we go. That's what I want to see here. Bring it back up. So that's the top of my tank. So this is the fuel sender. This is the pump for the fuel pump. That's back here in a precarious spot. Again, the fuel pump works and the sled runs just fine. It starts and runs, drove in the shop. But then these wires right here, zoom in there, those ones are for my tail light. Let's see if any of these are toasty. No, I don't see anything wrong here. This is just protection for that. Again, the brake light works fine. I don't see any obvious signs of arcing. All right, there's the whole setup. I don't know what ignited this, guys. I really don't. This is the meth power wires. I haven't tested if the meth pump works. Plug looks fine. And those wires are definitely, or that meth feed line is burnt, and that's the only source that I can tell anyway is that guy. It's the only place I can see where it leaked meth at all. The rest of the line looks brand new, because it is brand new. All of this line looks brand new. And again, here's my, see I told you I had the power and ground heat shrinked. So this was all heat shrink. I didn't even set the heat shrink on it. I didn't use the heat gun, and it's still loose. It's not, the wire wasn't hot enough in here to set the heat shrink. So you'd think if that wire was hot enough back on the front here, way up here, to burn that wire. I'm thinking that wire got burned from part of a flame this way. This is my sender. Can you see what I'm pointing at? This is my sender, and fuel return right here looks mint. I don't see any issue. No signs of shorting. Nothing. And that's just a sender, so that would be very minimal source of ignition. That was just holding my... Again, fuel pump wire looks a little crusty, and it's awful sus, as my girls would say. Awful sus. That seemed like a lot of the fire happened right here. These wires are exposed, but I see that they're a little, like the red looks a little blacker, like it got like smoke damage. Some of the heat shrink looks a little just singed, but not. I mean, if this is igniting fire, if this is igniting fire, it's sparking and somehow caught the foam on fire. What's that foam look like? This is what's underneath there. So this is what's underneath the boss seat. You can see right here is where that plug kind of jammed into the foam. There is some, so then that's what it came out like here. So right in here there is, gosh, there is some evidence. Maybe it's the fuel pump wire. It was running hot. It was on a wide open pole, but that fuel pump, I've been running that pump and that wiring for literally a decade. So maybe, but it seems kind of doubtful. I don't know. This line is all good. Just singed from the flames. Gosh, guys, I just don't know where it started. I don't know. I mean, this is the only thing I have back here. There is a heat exchanger that runs under here and goes this way. And there's actually nothing right in here where the fire was. There's no heat, no nothing. The heat exchanger hits this, and then it's an immediate U cooler. It's actually a W, and then it goes out the other side. So that area is void. It's where the factory muffler used to be. So there's nothing. There's no other heat. There's no other electrical. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's this bugger. Anybody know how to test for bad wires? I don't know. Okay. Well, I don't know if this is all going to get edited in here. If it is, you're long-winded. Thanks for sticking with me. I'm on a little CSI mission here. Boy, I don't like it when I don't know what caused the problem. It makes me nervous. So any ideas would be more than welcome, and we'll keep digging. Thanks all.